You've been lied to. They told you faith was softness. They told you belief in God was a crutch for the weak. But they never understood what real strength looks like. They never stepped into a storm with nothing but their fists and a prayer. This isn't a message. It's a reset. A new operating system for the battlefield inside your head. You're not here to survive. You're here to conquer. And you don't conquer just with your fists. You conquer with your spirit. Faith in God is not about sitting still. It's about standing up when your legs are broken. It's about walking through hell with your eyes forward and your heart locked on heaven. When you've been knocked down so many times the ground feels like home, that's when real belief begins. That's where warriors are born. I'm not talking about Sunday morning religion. I'm talking about the fire that doesn't go out. The whisper you hear when everyone else is screaming for you to quit. That voice, that still, small voice, it says, "Get up. You're not done yet." That's God. And when you listen to him, you don't break. You transform. This world will test you. Life will come for you without warning. You'll bleed. You'll crawl. You'll lose people. You'll lose yourself. But faith, real, disciplined, tested faith, will make your mind unshakable. You'll become the kind of man who doesn't fold when the pressure hits. You won't ask for easier battles. You'll ask for a sharper sword. Because God doesn't remove the war. He gives you armor. He gives you vision. He gives you discipline. And when your mind aligns with your faith, you don't fear darkness. You train in it. You don't collapse in failure. You rise from it. You don't walk alone. You walk with fire in your chest and purpose in your steps. So if you came here for comfort, you're in the wrong place. But if you came to build the kind of strength this world can't touch, stay locked in. I pray with action. I fight with faith. God is my corner man. Discipline is my strategy. You want to be strong? Then you need a mind that doesn't flinch. You need a spirit that doesn't fold. You think power starts in the body, but it doesn't. It starts in the mind. It starts in the fire you light every morning when no one's watching. That's the fight. That's the war. And most men lose it before the world ever throws a punch. Mike Tyson didn't become a monster in the ring by chance. He became that man in the shadows. Before the crowds, before the belts, before the world called him champion. He had already beaten fear in silence. You think fear is loud, but fear is a whisper. It tells you to sleep in. It tells you to rest when it's time to rise. It tells you you're not good enough, and most of you believe it. But Mike didn't. Not because he didn't hear it, because he fought it. Every day, every hour, every breath. That's the difference between being alive and being forged. You want discipline? Then stop asking for motivation. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. In Tyson's mind, the bell rang every time his eyes opened. No breaks, no distractions, no mercy. He trained like the devil was coming for him every morning. Because in his world, it was. He knew the demons didn't care about your excuses. So he built a mind they couldn't touch. When you train your mind like that, when you put it through hell and sharpen it with faith, nothing can shake you. You stop being afraid of the world and start commanding it. You don't run from struggle. You walk into it, eyes forward, fists tight, knowing God walks with you. You become ruthless, not with others, but with your doubt, your laziness, your distractions. You don't allow them a single breath, not one. And when you fall, and you will fall, you don't curse the pain, you embrace it, you use it. Tyson said it best. Discipline is doing what you hate to do, but doing it like you love it. And that's not motivation, that's war, that's the battlefield of self, and only the few ever win there. You want to lead? Lead your mind first. You want to rise? Bow to the grind first. God doesn't hand you power. He gives you tests. And every time you pass one, you earn a piece of who you were meant to become. That's the fight. And you fight it every damn day, even when you're tired, even when you're lost, even when it makes no sense. Especially when it makes no sense. Tyson didn't win because he wanted to. He won because he decided to become someone who couldn't lose. And that starts here. In your thinking, in your silence, in the war inside your skull. Nobody's going to do it for you. Nobody's going to save you. The world doesn't owe you peace. So become dangerous to your doubt. Become a threat to your fears. Look at yourself in the mirror and say, I will not break. I will not bend. I will not beg. You speak that truth until your bones believe it. This is not for everybody. This path is narrow. This life is brutal. This war is relentless. But if you carry faith in one hand and discipline in the other, you will move through the fire untouched. That's what Mike built. That's what you must build now. Because it's not about winning a fight. It's about becoming the kind of man who cannot be defeated, even when he loses. The kind of man who rises without applause, who trains without cameras, who walks with God and works like there's blood on the clock. The kind of man who doesn't need the world to see, because he already sees who he is. You are not here to be liked. You are here to be locked in. My fists don't make me dangerous. My mind does. I fight myself first, and I win daily. The fight isn't out there. It's not the opponent. It's not the critics. It's not the punches or the pain. The real enemy lives inside you. It wears your face. It knows your fears. It knows your secrets. And it speaks with your voice when you're tired. That's the voice that says, slow down. That's the whisper that says, you've done enough. But you haven't. You're not done. And if you listen to that voice, you lose everything. There's a version of you that must die. The soft one. The lazy one. The one that hides behind excuses and blames the world. That version has no place in the life you want. You don't negotiate with it. You don't reason with it. You destroy it. You drag it into the ring and beat it with repetition, beat it with silence, beat it with early mornings and cold showers and lonely nights where no one claps but heaven. Mike Tyson didn't just train his body. He trained himself to kill that inner coward every day. The one that wanted to sleep. The one that wanted comfort. The one that wanted to be liked. That part of him had to die so the warrior could live. And that death didn't happen once. It happened daily. You can't be both. You can't be disciplined and distracted. You can't be committed and comfortable. You can't walk with God and crawl with fear. You have to choose who gets to live. The version of you that bows to weakness or the version that walks with divine fire. There is no peace treaty inside you, only war. And in that war, the weak man has to lose. You fight it every day, not with anger, not with noise, with decisions, with quiet mastery, with choosing the harder path when no one's watching, with keeping your word when quitting would be easy, with praying when your mind is broken and showing up anyway. That's how the new man is built. One hard choice at a time. The world will tell you to accept yourself, but I'll tell you to reject the parts of you that keep you small, that keep you weak, that keep you a slave to comfort. Because you're not called to be average. You're called to be armored, forged, ruthless with your discipline, holy in your intent. You see, the devil doesn't show up with horns. He shows up as procrastination. He shows up as the tomorrow voice, as the you deserve a break voice. And if you don't shut that voice down, you become it. And once you become it, you're already defeated, even if the world still sees you smiling. The weak man apologizes for wanting more. The strong man kneels only to God and rises with clarity. The weak man waits for motivation. The strong man builds it brick by brick with prayer, silence, pain, and discipline. The weak man wants applause. The strong man trains in the dark until the results make noise for him. Mike Tyson understood this war. He didn't need to hate his opponent. He had already declared war on himself. He trained to dominate the version of him that would have rather been soft. He buried that version every time he bled, every time he broke, every time he heard the roar of doubt in his own mind and chose silence instead. If you don't master the inner war, the outer world will eat you alive. If you don't kill the coward, you'll serve him. He'll sit on your throne. He'll make your decisions. And you'll spend your life wondering why greatness always seems just out of reach. But if you decide right now, if you declare war on the man who hesitates, the man who runs, the man who folds under pressure, you will rise. You will rise without applause. You will rise without permission. You will rise without needing anyone to believe in you but God. You were born with fire, but fire without control is destruction. So master it, use it. Burn down the weak man, and let the warrior walk out of the smoke. I destroy comfort with decision. I kill weakness with repetition. There is no peace inside me, only purpose and fire. You want to grow? Then disappear for a while. Shut the noise off, leave the crowd. Walk into the silence where no one claps and no one cares, and build yourself there. That's where the real ones are made. In the quiet, in the lonely, in the hours that don't show up on highlight reels. The power isn't in the spotlight. The power is in the shadows. Mike Tyson didn't become a champion under lights. He became one locked inside a room, punching the same bag 1,000 times while the world moved on. He wasn't addicted to attention. He was addicted to work, to discipline, to isolation. And that's why he was unstoppable. Because when the world got loud, he already knew who he was in the silence. Most men fear being alone. That's why they chase approval. That's why they post for likes. That's why they never sit still long enough to hear the truth. But a man of God, a man of war, embraces isolation. He welcomes it. Because he knows silence is where God speaks. He knows stillness is where strength is born. Isolation isn't punishment. It's preparation. It's where your spirit gets tested, where your habits get forged, where your demons show up loud and you learn to fight them without distraction. You don't need applause. You need endurance. You don't need followers. You need focus. You don't need comfort. You need clarity. In the silence, there's no one to lie to. No mask, no audience. Just you, your discipline, and your creator. That's where you face your truth. That's where you break and rebuild. And when you walk back into the world after being forged in that fire, nothing can shake you. Not failure, not success, not opinions, not praise. You've already seen who you are in the dark, and you didn't flinch. Tyson understood the power of vanishing, of being unreachable, of disappearing into the gym while the world begged for his attention. He didn't need noise to validate him. His validation came from the sweat on the floor and the pain in his lungs. That was church. That was discipline. That was the sacred place where he met his true self. And if you want to become that kind of man, you have to do the same. You have to detach, turn the phone off, say no to distractions, build a temple out of routine, wake up before the sun, pray before you speak, train before you eat, move before you explain. And when your mind begs for attention, deny it. When your emotions beg for comfort, deny them. When your body begs for rest, give it purpose instead. You don't rise by being seen. You rise by being missed. By becoming so locked in, so consistent, so mentally cold, that people wonder where you went, then see what you've become. Isolation is not exile. It's elevation. And when you're ready to walk alone, you're finally ready to walk with God. The world will call you crazy. Let them. They called Noah crazy too, until it started raining. When you walk away from average people panic. When you stop explaining yourself, they call you arrogant. When you train alone, they say you've changed. Good. Change is the whole point. There's a beast inside you that can only be awakened in the quiet. A level of focus the world will never understand. You don't owe them access. You don't owe them updates. You owe God your discipline. You owe yourself your full potential, and that can only be paid in silence. Don't confuse isolation with weakness. This is where kings are built. This is where soldiers are born. This is where Mike Tyson turned into something the world had never seen. And it's where you will become something they can't forget. I disappear to become undeniable. I train in silence to hear God's voice. My solitude is not loneliness, it's mastery. You fell. Good. Now rise different. Because pain isn't the end, it's the instruction. It's not failure, it's feedback. It's the voice of God saying, now you're ready to build again. But this time, from truth, from discipline, from ashes. There is no comeback without collapse. There is no rise without fire. Mike Tyson lost everything: fame, fortune, identity. He fell in front of the whole world. But that fall wasn't the death of him. It was the death of the mask, the death of the illusion. And in that grave, something more dangerous was born: self-awareness, hunger, humility. That's the code. The ones who come back don't come back the same. They come back clean. You think redemption is a straight road. It's not. It's broken glass and silence. It's waking up with shame and still choosing to train. It's sitting in the rubble of what you ruined and building something holy on top of it. The comeback isn't just a return, it's a resurrection. Tyson had to meet himself at rock bottom. Not the fighter, not the icon, the man, the one with regret in his chest and no one left to blame. And in that place, stripped of applause, stripped of noise, he chose discipline. He chose faith. He chose to walk, not back, but forward into a new identity. You want to come back? Then kill the version of you that thinks failure is final. Destroy the ego that needs to win every round. Your enemy isn't the fall. It's the belief that the fall disqualifies you. But you're not disqualified. You're being refined. God doesn't discard broken men. He rebuilds them with scars as proof of purpose. The comeback code is written in silence, in repentance, in sweat that no one sees. You don't post it. You live it. You don't talk about it. You become it. Tyson understood that. He didn't erase his past. He used it. The jail time, the public failures, the pain. He turned it into power. Not just to fight, but to speak, to teach, to walk with humility. You see, the real comeback isn't about restoring what you had. It's about becoming someone who never needed it to begin with. That version of you, the one who's built in the ruins, isn't scared anymore. Because he's been through fire. He's walked through judgment. He's lost and stood back up without applause. And that man is dangerous. Because he knows the truth. He doesn't chase validation. He walks with purpose. He doesn't seek pity. He radiates conviction. Your scars are not stains. They are signatures. They are reminders that you got back up, that you kept going, that you bled and still built. And when you stand on that comeback ground, you don't speak the same. You don't walk the same. You don't train the same. You train with clarity. You train with memory. You train with God in your corner, whispering, now you understand. There's a reason why the greatest warriors always have the darkest stories, because only men who've been broken know how to rebuild. Only men who've lost know how to value victory. And only men who've walked through shame can carry honor with truth. The comeback doesn't start with a win. It starts with a choice to rise without bitterness, a choice to fight with discipline, not emotion, a choice to walk with God, not ego. And once you make that choice, you don't look back. You don't explain. You don't ask. You move forward like the man you were always meant to be. Let them doubt you. Let them mock you. Let them remind you of your past. That's part of the code too. Because when they see you rise again, stronger, cleaner, quieter, they'll understand. You were never down. You were rebuilding. My failure was fertilizer. My scars are sacred. I don't come back to prove. I come back to dominate. Greatness isn't a moment. It's not a feeling. It's a rhythm, a structure, a sacred repetition that doesn't break. That's what most men miss. They think success is found in intensity, but it lives in consistency, and consistency is built on ritual, daily, without exception, without applause. Mike Tyson didn't train when he felt good. He trained because it was time. He didn't need a mood, he had a mission. His days were carved in stone. Wake, pray, run, bleed, repeat. That wasn't just a routine. That was identity. That was worship. When you commit to daily discipline, you stop negotiating. You stop asking yourself how you feel. You act because it's who you are. The beast doesn't think, he acts. He rises with purpose before the sun speaks. He moves before doubt wakes up. He prays before the chaos begins. He builds in silence, trains in silence, honors God with his order. That's power, that's control, that's spiritual warfare, fought with structure. Discipline is the bridge between the man you are and the man you were born to be. And it's built one brick at a time. You eat like a warrior. You train like a soldier. You speak like a king. You protect your mind like a temple. Every habit is a seed. Every morning is a battlefield. And every small choice is a sword or a surrender. The beast doesn't wait for motivation. He creates momentum. He does the same hard things at the same time every single day. And each time he does, he affirms his identity. He doesn't just say who he is. He proves it in the way he walks, the way he breathes, the way he shows up when nobody's watching. Tyson didn't build power in the ring.
He built it at 4 a.m., alone, running through the cold with demons behind him and God ahead of him. Every step was a decision. Keep going or collapse. And he kept going. That's ritual. That's devotion. That's what separates men from boys. And your rituals must become sacred. Not because they're fancy, but because they're yours. Wake early. Make your bed. Sweat before sunrise. Pray before pressure. Write down your mission. Visualize the win. Embrace silence. Reject comfort.
And when your body screams to stop, smile. Because now it's working. What you do daily determines who you become permanently. It's not about intensity one day. It's about loyalty every day. Loyalty to your future self. Loyalty to the warrior within. Loyalty to God, who watches the man in the dark and rewards the one who stays the course. The beast doesn't chase pleasure. He chases presence. His rituals are not random. They are surgical, strategic. Every rep, a reminder. Every mile, a message. Every cold shower, a crucifixion of weakness. Every journal entry, a sharpening of vision. The beast understands. Discipline is a form of prayer. Sacrifice is a language God answers. And on the days you don't feel like doing it, those are the holy days, the sacred days. Because on those days, when your emotions betray you and you still act with discipline, you don't just build habits, you build heaven inside your bones. You tell the old version of you, you don't lead anymore. Mike Tyson had demons. We all do. But his rituals chained them, controlled them, starved them. That's the secret. You don't fight darkness with talk. You fight it with structure, with truth. With a life that cannot be shaken, because it is built brick by brick, sweat by sweat, prayer by prayer. Your rituals are the proof of your identity. Don't say you're disciplined. Show it at 5 a.m. Don't say you're grateful. Show it in the silence before anyone speaks. Don't say you believe. Prove it in your patterns. And when the world sees you, let them witness a man who doesn't fold because he's already died to who he used to be. My rituals are sacred. My discipline is my prayer. I don't visit greatness. I live inside it. You're not who you were when you started this. That man is gone. Left behind in the noise, the doubt, the comfort. What stands now is something else. Something colder, sharper, quieter. A man who knows who he is because he paid for it. In silence, in sweat, in submission to a higher power. This isn't motivation. This is memory. You've remembered who you are. You've remembered the warrior beneath the wounds, the king beneath the chaos, the fire beneath the fear. You've stopped waiting for the world to give you permission. You've given it to yourself. You've stopped chasing strength and started becoming it. You don't flinch anymore. You don't beg anymore. You don't explain anymore, because you've seen the truth. God doesn't give the crown to the loudest man. He gives it to the most obedient, the most disciplined, the most unshakable, the one who trains when no one watches, the one who walks with him when no one claps. From this moment on, you move different. You rise early. You speak with weight. You act with certainty. You train like the war has already started, because it has. And every choice now reflects who you serve, not your emotions, not your fears, not your followers. You serve your mission. You serve your future. You serve your faith. Let them doubt you. Let them forget you. That's not your concern. You're not here for applause. You're here for legacy. You're not here to impress. You're here to embody. Every breath now is purpose. Every step now is authority. You don't react. You respond. You don't hope. You execute. You don't wander. You walk like you've already won, because you have. You've become the man who doesn't need the world to see his process, because he trusts God to reveal the outcome. You've become the man who doesn't bow to resistance, because resistance is his daily companion. You've become the man who prays without words, whose entire life is a sermon of discipline, presence, and quiet fire. This isn't hype. This is home. This isn't adrenaline. This is alignment. You don't train for the crowd. You train because you're chosen. And the chosen move different. I am not who I was. I am who I decide to be, daily. God built me in the dark. Now I walk in his light. So what now? Are you going to scroll back to your old self, or step into the ring as the man you were meant to be?